All right, hello there, welcome back to another wee bit different video. Today's video, we're going back into our NBA Weekly. Now, it's unfortunate that all my NBA Weekly videos are on a Thursday because there have been times where I want to talk about the NBA like after games, and I thought about doing it, but considering that I have so much other stuff to post on this channel, I try to stay in my lane. Now, with NBA Finals, that might take exception. You know, it might be to where I just have to react after every game. I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead. It's just I wanted to let you guys know why I haven't posted stuff like that. It's because I also have other stuff to post. But with that being said, there has so much that has happened in this past week. Last time I made the NBA Weekly, Lakers were down 1-0. Heat was up 1-0. And if you guys haven't followed my past NBA Weeklies, I'm a Laker fan. Fuck. That shit was painful, dude. That shit was really painful. I'm not going to take the time to talk about it because honestly, I'm like such a depressed fan right now. We'll talk about certain things, you know, revolving around specifically LeBron James and the whole retirement stuff. But first things first, I actually want to get into the current series, the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat. Now, the game's tomorrow. Y'all see this video tomorrow, Thursday, and the series could be over by the time you're watching this if you watch this on Friday or maybe it's still going and there's a game on Saturday. But with that being said, I just want to talk about Miami being up 3-1 real quick. Jimmy Butler has been fucking spectacular. Max Strus has stepped up. Duncan Robinson has stepped up. Caleb Martin has probably been the most important role player in the entire series. Bam Adebayo has stepped up. This whole team is just looking hungry, eager to rip the Celtics heart and just smash it, crush that shit on the ground. The Celtics prior to game 4 looked lifeless. They looked scared of the moment. They just looked bitch made, for lack of a better term. Really, they just looked bitch made. But game 4, Jason Tatum bailed out Jaylen Brown. He really did. Jason Tatum really put the team on his back. He said, fourth quarter, I'm tired of not getting buckets here. I'm tired of not taking shots here. I'm going to do my thing. Now, does this mean anything for Boston? Probably not. If it's anything like NBA in the past and like the first thousands, not literally thousands, but thousands of series that are 3-0, it's over. Like, this series is over. It should be over. If for whatever fucking reason it's not over in game 5 and somehow Boston takes it to game 7, I would do an emergency fucking discussion video on that. But assuming, you know, that Boston does lose in game 5 or maybe even 6, let's talk about the Denver Nuggets and the Miami Heat. That is going to be one hell of a series. And I was actually watching game 3 actually at my auntie's house, and my cousin there was saying, hey, I really think Miami is gonna lose in 5. Like, it should be in 5. And I told him, I was like, dude, Miami losing in 5 with the way they're playing right now, I don't think so, Chief. And he was telling me how he thinks I'm putting too much stock in Miami, but no, like, I'm actually serious. In my opinion, Miami takes the chip. Like, I think they win in 6. Yes, you heard me correctly. I think they win in 6 games. My reason being is significantly more simple than you think. You'd probably thinking there has to be some crazy logic behind this one, some crazy numbers, some crazy calculations. It comes down to 2 things for me. 2 massive things for me. Or I would say, I'll say 3. I'll say 3 because we'll get there. But first and foremost, Jimmy fucking Butler is the first thing that matters most. In my opinion, he's been the best player in all playoffs. And I know for a lot of you Nuggets fans and a lot of people in general, you're like, how is it not Nikola Jokic? Reason being is because Jamal Murray won the Nuggets game 2 and 3. Flat out just won them those games. He played like fucking the second coming of Stephen Curry, shooting crazy threes, keeping their team in it. Yes, Jokic is phenomenal, and I'm not saying otherwise, but Jimmy Butler has single-handedly put his team, I wouldn't say single-handedly, but he has single-handedly come in clutch to put his team in the position to win. He is Mr. Clutch, he is Mr. for the moment, and he is a fucking dog. If you talk to him, you talk trash to him, it's only gonna psych him up more, and he's gonna be pumped up. He ain't taking that shit personal. I mean, at the time, it might seem like he does, but he knows damn well that it's competition, and Jimmy Butler strives for competition. I truly believe that Denver cannot stop Jimmy. Whether it's them trying to double team, Jimmy's gonna fucking feed. He's gonna get a shit ton of assists if he needs to. Jimmy's gonna rebound a shit ton if he needs to. Jimmy's gonna score a shit ton if he needs to. Plus, he's elite on the defensive end. Jimmy Butler is my biggest reason, without question, in terms of the reason why I would say Miami's gonna win. Reason number 2, Erik Spoelstra. Erik Spoelstra has been phenomenal, really, his entire tenure as a Miami coach. One thing that he does not get enough credit for is play calls and defensive adjustments in particular. Sometimes he'll run zone when he needs to. Sometimes he'll have players switch off coverages when he needs to. He just always seems to keep players where they need to be. It's like, I'm trying to give you a good analogy here, but it's kind of like chess for him. He's just moving the pieces and moving them and putting these pieces in position to take over the next step. Like, he doesn't have the horse's ability, right? Like, let's say Jimmy Butler is the fucking queen, right? He's more of a king, but where he can do anything. Erik Spoelstra is simply just putting this guy in the right position to get you checkmated, bruh. Like, Erik Spoelstra is that level good. And if you just see his adjustments, for example, we talk about Jokic and how he was eating this entire Lakers series. I can guarantee you Erik Spoelstra is going to figure something out, probably with the utilization of Bam. And that gets me into my third biggest reason why I think that the Heat will win and why the Lakers couldn't win. Bam Adebayo. We talk about AD like he's a defensive god, because he is. But the difference between AD and Bam Adebayo is Bam can guard 1 through 5. AD is not meant to guard 1 through 5. He can give you a contest, but he can also make stupid fouls, like closing out too far on 3 or just not being quick enough. Bam, on those plays where Jamal Murray is setting a screen for Jokic, Bam can, I promise you this, Bam can switch onto Jamal Murray and be fucking good. He is A1, no problemas, no issue. For all you English speakers, sorry, no problems. I'm Mexican, for those who don't know. But yeah, that's my point. Bam can legitimately switch onto Murray, no problem. And then now I know what you're thinking. You're saying, okay, but now that leaves a guard on Jokic. Here's the thing about Erik Spoelstra that's fucking crazy. This guy sees a hole in your offense and he will exploit it. My best guess, this is me just kind of predicting at this point, he is going to target Aaron Gordon all fucking series and dare Aaron Gordon to hit threes. He is going to double the fuck out of Jokic off of those double teams, force Jokic to make that pass to not KCP, not MPJ, but to Aaron Gordon, and force Aaron Gordon to be a fucking bucket. Now, Aaron Gordon is obviously really good when it comes to paint shots, you know, getting contact finishes, but he is not a three-point bucket. It's just not his game. Also not great with the handles. So Bam Adebayo can complete that process significantly easier because AD, whenever he switched on to Jamal, it was a lot harder for him. Jamal was still able to create a shot for himself. I truly believe Bam Adebayo would be able to shut down Jamal Murray if that's where he got matched up. So those 3 reasons, again, Erik Spoelstra game planning, targeting Aaron Gordon, that's a prediction, but he's proved it all of playoffs. He's been able to put his players in a position to succeed and call out timely timeouts when there's even an ounce of momentum for the other team. Calls it and gives his own team a breather. Settle down. Let's not let them take over. Let's bring it back. Let's reel it back. And look where it got him. I mean, dude, they were still up 3-0 against the fucking Celtics. Celtics are down 3-1. Like, you can't give this guy enough credit. And then again, going back to Jimmy Butler just being the best player, in my opinion, in all of playoffs this year. I'm not saying he's a better player than Jokic. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying thus far, he's performed the best. That's just my opinion. But with that being said, I don't want to say, oh, Nuggets have 0 shot, because that's just not true. The Nuggets are really good. You have guys who are just so sufficient at staying in their role. KCP, never doing too much. MPJ, well, he does never fucking, like, if he gets past the ball, the possession probably will end there. But when it comes down to it, the Nuggets are happy with that because this guy's a fucking bucket. This guy shoots a shot, and honestly, every time he misses, it's like what Charles Barkley says. You're just like, you're surprised. You're surprised it didn't go in. You're like, fuck, wow, that's a surprise. That is genuinely a surprise. So Nuggets definitely have the firepower. Defensively, I could see how they could. Jimmy Butler, my guess, is going to be attacking the fuck out of Jokic, like non-stop, gonna force Jokic to be conditioned as hell. I mean, you really think about it, Jokic's one biggest flaw in all of basketball, aside from him being really sluggish, lack of athleticism, is his lack of defense. He's just not a great defender. You know, I wouldn't say he's a traffic cone, like he's that bad, but he's definitely someone who just doesn't have the ability to just stop someone when he has to. Big presence. He's got size on him, obviously. You can't just back him down easily. But Jimmy Butler, on both ends of the floor, is going to make this motherfucker run. This motherfucker is going to have to run. And I don't know if Jokic has that level of conditioning to him. Anthony Davis did not at all. So it was a lot easier for Jokic to manage because AD's conditioning was not... It is not to Jimmy Butler's level. Jimmy can just run, bro. Like, he's just not going to stop. This dude is a fucking train. Now, will there be times where he needs to catch a breather? Of course. But this entire Heat team is built on toughness, is built on sheer will. Now, this whole video pretty much up to this point has been how I just think the Heat are going to win in 6, possibly even 7. But like I said, you can't stress enough. The Nuggets are still a really good team. They swept the Lakers for a reason. They're just fucking built from the ground up, complete team, absolute complete team. Shooters, contact finishers, people good at facilitating, specifically Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, obviously, you know, very much hustling on the offensive boards. So ultimately, I think we're gonna see a great series. I just happen to believe, not strongly, but 75% positive, 80% positive that the Heat do end up pulling the series out. And you know, I'm a big fan of what Jimmy Butler has done this playoff, so I would say I'm cheering for them. I have nothing against Nuggets, even though they swept the Lakers. I mean, you know what I mean? They're a good basketball team. What am I to hate on? Nikola Jokic wasn't an asshole. Like, no one other team wasn't just like full of themselves. They got it done. They talked that shit and they backed it up. What can you hate on? So this isn't salt since I'm a Lakers fan. I just actually believe in these Miami Heat players a lot, and I believe in the organization a lot, specifically Jimmy Butler and Eric Spoelstra, and again Bam Adebayo. Huge expectations moving forward. If Tyler Hero could come back, even if coming off the bench, which is more likely than not since the starters are doing really well, that's huge. Tyler Hero coming back is absolutely huge. You're talking about a dude who averages 20 points per game. You add him into the mix, dude, you got a fucking squad more than you already have now. So I'm telling you, man, I really think this Heat is going to take it off, but we'll see. I could very much be wrong because the Nuggets are good. Really good. Going to another topic, the whole John Morant thing, the whole dramatic social media goodbye. You know, I don't want to bash on any players. I saw on Reddit people were saying, oh, people on social media post to get attention. Yeah, but he's also what? How old is John Morant? Like 23, 24? Like, this dude is my age. You know what I mean? If someone like me were to be doing that, I don't think people would be as surprised. But because this guy's in the spotlight, there's expectations that come with it. And it's fair, of course. I mean, the whole gun thing is obviously rightly, you know, he got rightly shit on for that because that was just stupid. But in terms of how he handles his social media presence and just if he wants to say goodbye, even if it seems dramatic to you guys or even to me, like, again, he's still super young. He's a young adult. It's not easy for these people to have their lives figured out, even if they are rich. So I don't want to just be judgmental in that sense of saying, hey, you have this, you have that, you shouldn't be feeling this way. Like, who am I to criticize someone else in their struggles? Right now, the whole thing with LeBron going into that, because again, I know I didn't really talk too much about all of this. I wanted to address it because I recognize that what is happening and that they had to have a welfare check to make sure he was okay. But it just feels wrong morally for me to try and shit on someone else's behavior when it comes to posting about, you know, basically being sad. Like, it just seems like he's an emotional wreck. So it feels morally wrong for me to shit on someone. Like, that's just not who I am as a person. It's not my character to be like, oh, you're a type of person because you're saying bye to your loved ones on social media because you're seemingly hopping off of social media. Like, sure, it's dramatic, but again, I can't stress enough when it comes to those kind of things, emotional damage, mental health, you know what I mean? Like, it's such a tough subject because everyone handles it entirely differently. Some people do have that cry for help. Some people do stupid things, and it doesn't justify it. I'm not trying to justify anything he's done, because if you saw last week's video, I kind of went in on him a little bit, but I just understand it. I have empathy for it, not necessarily sympathy. I feel like those are two different things, or they are. But anyway, get into the LeBron thing, which is the last thing we'll talk about for our NBA Weekly. LeBron's not retiring. That's definitely not happening. I think this is a power play. Really a message to the front office for the Lakers saying, y'all better get me someone fucking good. Well, I want to see some results. I want to see a superstar or a star next to me in AD next season. And, you know, LeBron's a smart guy, plays basketball at a smart level. Great when it comes to taking care of his money. You know, he doesn't play around. He always does what's in his best interest financially and for his family and for his brand as a whole, right? That's what Bron does. For him to come out and say he's considering or implying that he's considering retirement, or he at least needs to think about it. He's made his aspirations known to the whole world that he wants to play with Bronny. Even if he says that doesn't mean it's necessarily Bronny's wish. We both know that LeBron's going to stick around long enough to where Bronny can make that decision for himself. So LeBron isn't retiring. That's not happening. I think everything that he's going to be doing moving forward is to really say to the Lakers, like, y'all better fucking bring someone in because we just didn't have that. Like, LeBron's 30 years old. He's going to be going on 39 next season. He shouldn't have to be the leading scorer, which is true, very true. There should be someone else to fill that role. Naturally, you think it'd be AD, but guess what? It's just not. AD has, you know, battled injuries and has had his ups and downs. Ultimately, AD is still an elite player, but as the guy, as the Batman, it's just not him. You know, he has games where he flashes that, but consistently throughout all of postseason or a regular season, AD is not your Batman. Again, he'll have his moments where he shines brighter than a lot of motherfuckers can in this whole league, but it's just, how often does he shine? How often does he show up? At this point in time, LeBron's looking for LeBron has put up his bat signal. LeBron has straight up said, I want fucking Batman to come in town or something. So we'll see what the Lakers do. Ultimately, they definitely have to keep Austin Reeves. He is a must return. Rui Hachimura, same thing. You want to see him come back. I'm interested to see how they handle the D'Angelo Russell thing. You know, will he stay on the team? Will he not? My guess is probably not. As a Lakers fan, I just I'm not over this shit, man. Like, I've accepted, obviously, that we just wouldn't have won the title anyway because we just weren't good enough. Too much inconsistency, specifically from players like D'Lo, but even Bron from three, even AD. You know, just our best players. The only one who was consistently showing up in that Nuggets series was Austin Reeves. Not to say that Bron didn't show up, but he had his moments where he was just missing way too many threes. Not timely shots at all. LeBron is LeBron. He can shoot whatever the fuck he wants. You know, he is considered one of the GOATs to some people, the GOAT, including me. So it's a shot that you live with. But again, he's going on 39 next year. LeBron has put up the bat signal. It is time for someone to come to the city of LA and really just take over to be the leading scorer and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I appreciate you guys for watching. NBA Weekly has definitely made it's come a long way is what I'm trying to say. But also, something that I want to talk about is we are nearing 200 subscribers. It has been a blast to do this YouTube channel for 10 months now. I've had so much fun. I'm making my rounds because I don't want to do one whole big video on it. My intentions are pretty clear in that I'm going to keep working 6 videos a week, keep doing my best to keep you guys covered on all kinds of content. and bringing all kinds of communities together, because that has been the plan since day one. If you haven't watched my intro video, maybe you should probably watch it to get an idea of this channel. But I just want to cover all kinds of content from all different kinds of communities to bring everyone together, because sometimes when you're alone, you have to realize and understand that you're not the only one alone. We can be alone together, and that's some sad shit, but it's the reality of a lot of people's lives and a lot of people's daily routines, is that they just are alone. But being alone doesn't mean that you have to be alone by yourself alone. That probably doesn't make sense. My point is that if you're alone and I'm alone, let's be alone together. You know, let's get on this channel, let's fucking create all kinds of content for the world to see, so that we can have discussions amongst communities. And my goal has always been to give back. At some point when I hit, you know, a favorable amount of subscribers, I do plan on doing giveaways. That's gonna happen, like for sure, that's gonna happen. I'm talking about PlayStation cards, Amazon cards, whatever the fuck, video game giveaways, whatever I gotta do, even basketball shoe giveaways or something, you know what I mean? Charity live streams, give back to specific people in need, and just host some kind of events or some stuff to where this community can feel like they are appreciated and that they are cared for, even though, you know, I don't necessarily know you or you don't necessarily know me. I just feel like we can appreciate our interest in life. Like, we share similar interests, so let's fucking talk about it. So that's my outlook. Now, I know I'm talking about this on the NBA Weekly, but I care about the NBA, and if you care about the NBA, let's fucking talk about it. So I can't stress enough, I always look at comments. My channel is not big enough to where I should not look at comments. Always do. Anytime someone does comment, I always try to reply, unless it's a comment where I can't really reply to, where I'm just like, how do I reply to that? But yeah, most comments I do reply to anyway, and I try to show my appreciation, because I do appreciate you guys a lot. And like I said, this community has grown, and I'm going to continue to work on that moving forward, and work on my editing skills and purchasing more software to do more grand stuff. And yeah, anyway, I appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you very much for tuning in to NBA Weekly this week. I'll see you guys next week, and I will have an emergency video where if the Celtics somehow take it to Game 7, we will have that discussion. That will be said. I will push out whatever I need to push out, because that shit would be crazy. But anyway, this is Ollie Been Different on We Been Different, and we out.